Welcome to Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tiff and myself.
You better go somewhere.
Had a little interesting ride coming in.
Do you like that? Look at you go. You were late.
Yeah, well, there's a gym downstairs, and so then we jackassed it. We decided to put me in a tire, and they were trying to push it, and Keith is rolling for a second on there, and then Tyler has to come. I'm hanging upside down on the top of it for a minute there before Tyler comes and then pushes me, and I'm fully expecting to keep on rolling, but then they stopped me.
I wasn't going as fast as Tyler wanted me to go, so we had to.
Yeah, it's okay.
It was good. It was good. Crystal, Jason, awesome. Thanks for sharing it. Welcome into the chat. They've been in here. They're like a top fan.
Some of our top fans. Yeah. No, we appreciate that. Well, today we have a very cool show. This is our last in studio show for a while. Until I come back at sometime in the summer. So,
man, you're not coming back till in the summer?
It's gonna be in the summer sometime. But as always, the show rolls on literally with a tire in this case.
Okay. All right, so we're doing that.
Yeah, but we are gonna have a big show on Thursday as well. NASCAR driver, former NASCAR driver, a race car driver, and huge personality, as you all know, Kenny Wallace gonna be joining the show. And so I am super pumped for that.
I'm excited too.
Yeah,
honestly,
you guys are in for a treat for that. So I'm very pumped up to see Kenny on our show. So the Herminator going to be joining the Life in the Fast Lane. So that's going to be sweet. Yeah,
that is fun. So I didn't, again, I'm new to the NASCAR scene since talking to you and stuff. But then you pulled up some things about him, Jay. It's going to be hilarious. Oh, yeah. He's going to be he's a funny guy. But then of course we got to talking about who he was, and you gave me a backstory on it. So like the stuff that he does, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to hear what he's done, how he's done it, and how he's continuing to grow his brand, his name, and still do cool things.
Well, and that's the cool thing is you always hear once a racer, always a racer. And so for himself and Kenny Schrader, one of his best friends and my mentor growing up, these guys go to dirt tracks across the entire country, and they'll run between 50 and 100 races a year, like literally every other night or every third night. So I'm sure it was a weird year for them last year, not being able to go in and go to the racetrack every single weekend because of COVID.
Sure.
And so I'm sure they're excited this year to get back on track almost every night. So yeah, that's going to be really neat. But what I did want to talk about is, today I'm here in Northeast Ohio, in where I grew up, down the street here in Hinckley. And so I wanted to talk to you about something. And just a little bit of why we always talk about why we're such big Cleveland fans of sports and things like that, right?
Sure.
But I want to dive in a little bit further into that in general. So I'm from here, but I live in Charlotte, and I live in a town called Huntersville, just outside of Charlotte, just like Elyria. Here is outside of Cleveland.
Sure.
And to me, that is home where I live. I will not move away from there unless there's a good reason to come back here, to be honest with you.
Sure.
But at the same part, there is a part of me that will never leave Cleveland. I will always be very proud of being from Northeast Ohio, and I think you grow up with that. But I want to talk to you about that because you've grown up here. But, there's that Morgan Wallen song, Love You More Than My Hometown, stuff like that. So I want to ask, what do you think it is about the connection to either a hometown? Because you hear it a lot with football players like Baker Mayfield. It sounds very similar to Texas.
Sure,
you have that I'm reading Matthew McConaughey's book about him in Texas, and he's like clinging on to the big Texas and the upbringing and stuff like that. What do you think it is about hometowns and where you come from that really makes a big difference of who you are? And why does that sit with you? Because I've been gone for 7 years, but I still consider myself from Cleveland.
From Cleveland.
Yeah,
well, you are from Cleveland.
I am from Cleveland, but I wasn't born here. I haven't lived my whole life here, and now I've been gone for almost a decade now. So why does that stick with people?
Because it's the same thing with a school, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm talking high school. We don't got to go to college. It's high school.
College could be in the same conversation.
No, it is. Yeah. But I mean, we're talking on a smaller scale. Like, right, you go to, it doesn't matter where you're from. Your school's your school, right?
Yep.
You're that, no matter what, you are. Like, I'm a Firelands Falcon. I'll always be a Fireland Falcon. I don't care where my kids go. I don't care where.
You don't care where your kids go.
No, I mean I do care where my kids go, but I don't care where they go to school because then they'll adopt those policies. Sure. You know what I mean? But I will always be a Firelands Falcon.
Right.
I would never try to push my kids into going there if they didn't want to. Sure. But I mean, like, of course you want your kids to go there, but it's spirit. That's what it is. Cleveland has it all. Cleveland's got baseball, football, basketball, NASCAR. It's got all of it. So when you really break it down to Northeast Ohio, because everybody says there's a dot on a map. Here's Cleveland.
Yeah,
that's not Cleveland.
No,
Cleveland is Northeast Ohio.
Yeah,
it's Northeast Ohio. Everybody knows it's Northeast Ohio. But when you have a sense of pride from where you're from, you never lose that. So you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And what I want to ask about that is there was a study that came out showing that the two most unhappy towns to live in were at the bottom was Detroit. We're always better than Detroit. And second to last was Cleveland. And that shocked me. It really did because there's all these cities. And it's over like 450 some cities.
Really?
And it shocked me, to be honest with it, because I always felt a big sense of pride. Does the weather suck here? Yes. There's a lot of infrastructure bad here? Yes. But at the end of the day, I always thought that was cool because it was like you took pride in the fact that
you should.
You love the sports teams. You love what you did because not everything was perfect. And I was shocked when that report came out saying it was the second most depressing area to live in because I did not agree with that.
I don't agree with it either. But then here again, like you look at Detroit, dude, Detroit's it's a crap hole. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's not by choice.
Right.
It's not that people didn't choose to make it a crap hole.
Yeah.
It's just
it's not their fault. The manufacturing
car, and everything happened. It really isn't because you got to remember back in Detroit was booming. That's where you wanted to be. I mean, if you wanted to be an actor and stuff, you LA always.
Yeah, but auto industry and auto execs, Detroit.
Detroit
still is
rapping. Detroit.
Yep.
Music, rock and roll, Cleveland.
Yep.
And there's a reason why Detroit and Cleveland are so close. Okay, we hate Michigan State, right?
Or U of M.
Or U of M, right? We hate them.
Yeah. Football team.
But let's be honest, without them, without the Joker, there's no Batman. Without Batman, there's no Joker.
Yep. And
it doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter. You had that sense of pride. So you're always going to want, that to do better than what, whatever they're facing or whatever. But when you look at Cleveland in a sense, is it depressing? No.
I don't think so.
I mean, Ohio in itself is depressing when the weather sucks.
Right, yeah. But that's anyway.
California's depressing as crap when the weather sucks.
Yeah.
We don't have an ocean.
Right.
Boo-hoo. Did our lake catch on fire?
River.
I mean, the Cuyahoga River. Yes, it did. But take all that aside. I have never personally been at a loss going, I need to move out of Cleveland. I don't want to be here. I've never said that. Now, jokingly, yes, you're like, Ohio sucks.
Well, that's always a joke, yeah.
But let's just be honest. I don't like hurricanes. We don't get them.
Right.
I don't like tornadoes. Very rarely do we get them.
Yeah.
Earthquakes, once every 28 years.
It's a little rumble.
Sure. We don't have that bad of natural disasters. Now, blizzard, yes, sucks. Blizzard of 87, horrible. I wasn't even alive. But it was bad.
That's not like that's every year.
But no, it's not. So when you have a sense of pride of where you come from, you want to make it better around you.
Yeah.
Right? If I have a house, I'm proud of my house, right? I want my yard to look good. But then you take it a step further, I want my kids to be in a nice neighborhood. Now I care about what's going on in that neighborhood. That's what we need to get back to. So when they say, Cleveland's a depressing place to live, it is not a depressing place to live. It's about your mind frame.
Well, what I find very interesting about that and why I brought it up is because you and I were talking about Drew Carey a little bit earlier on. Obviously, big Cleveland guy.
Huge Cleveland guy.
Then you talk about guys like Machine Gun Kelly.
Huge Cleveland guy.
You have people, what's his name? He used to be the talk show host.
Big Chuck, Lil Jon. Those guys are all from Cleveland.
What
talk show?
So with an A. I'm losing the name.
The guy from WMS that passed away?
No, but I'll remember his name later on. But point being, so like even LeBron, I know you don't love him, but like kid from Akron, right? Still gave back to this community.
Correct.
It's very interesting to me because there is I don't want to say a cult, but it's kind of like a cult to be honest with you, with celebrities that are from Cleveland.
Halle Berry. Yeah. I mean, there's another one that's from Cleveland, and you got to remember, dude, Cleveland has a lot.
Sorry, Arsenio Hall. That's what I was thinking.
He's from Cleveland.
He is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, he's very big. And when he was on The Apprentice, when he was doing the Coming to America stuff, he always talks about Cleveland. And when the Browns were making their run, he was talking about Cleveland on there. There's such a big grouping of celebrities and people that are on here that talk about being from there. And I know other people have their hometowns and stuff like that. And the reason I asked about what does a hometown mean, it's interesting to me because most places are not, you don't talk about, like you said, Cleveland's not just the dot of the tiny, the urban area of downtown Cleveland. It is the entire Northeast Ohio. Cedar Point's Cleveland,
Oh, God.
Everything like that's Cleveland.
Sandusky's Cleveland. But here's a good example of that. Christopher Cox, who owns Hooligans Gym.
Yeah.
He says, Cleveland is the heart of it all. # We Are Cleveland. He's the reason that you want to better what's around you. He constantly has, but this is what Cleveland does. And I'm sure other cities and other states have it.
Sure.
But when you have people like Hooligans, who run Hooligans, which is Christopher Cox, Coach Cox, who runs the gym, who is constantly out there trying to better somebody else's life at his own expense sometimes. Sure. That's what Clevelanders do. And I think it's safe to say that is what, when you have that pride, you want to see the next person succeed.
Yeah.
And if you don't, there's something wrong with how you think. Not how the city is, but how you think. Yeah. Who wrote that article? Was it somebody got pissed off at Cleveland? Is that why it was depressing? You could say any city is depressing, and you could say Detroit is a crap hole.
Sure.
But the people who live in Detroit,
they love Detroit,
probably don't say that.
Right.
Eminem.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly. And he's actively trying to make Detroit better. Sure. I hate to say this, he's got different views than I do, but he's actively trying to make it better. And there's a lot of people out there that constantly do that.
Yeah.
You didn't have to come back to Cleveland. You don't have to come to visit your parents. That's different.
Sure.
Right? Sure. You have to go visit your parents.
But like I brought my wife to her first Major League Baseball game, was the Indians wild card game. Jordan is not even like baseball, but she still talks about that game to this day. And I was going to bring her to when the Browns, like the end of the season games last year or the playoff game. I was going to do that, but why I did not was because I wanted to show her, and still do when we get back to normalcy and can go to the dog pound and stuff again, I wanted to show her how incredibly insane, but in a good way, and passionate the Browns fans are. And that's one of the things I think is so cool about this town, is that there's no, in my opinion, there's not another town that has such a thoroughbred fan base in there. You go to other places, it's fair weather fans, and you can say that about Cavs fans and stuff like that, because I don't think there's such a big fan base there when they're not winning, but at the same point, when they were good, of course they're going to support them. But at the end of the day, this is a Browns town. This is a
100%.
But what I told my race team before the Daytona 500 was I told them about the Northeast Ohio blue collar mentality, and that's that nobody gives a shit about you, nobody expects anything from you, so we're going to go out and prove them wrong.
That's right.
And it's not right away. It's a building thing of that.
Sure.
It's that mentality though that you're going to keep on grinding and keep on going, and that's what the city, I believe, the mentality of guys that are and gals from this city. That's why they take that places with them. That's why I think from celebrities there's such a strong connection to Northeast Ohio, because everybody from here is bred on grinding and making things happen. And I think it's not LA, it's not New York, but so many people come from right here in Ohio.
Absolutely. Actually, hold on. I want to make sure I get to the comments real quick, because I totally forgot about this, even though we talk about it all the time. John said in the chat, Steve Harvey.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
and he's a big Cleveland supporter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and again, so is Drew Carey, and but Steve Harvey, that man, he still breathes Cleveland, dude.
Right.
Like, and that's what makes, I think, Cleveland. It's like you want to get out, and people are like, oh, I could leave. Okay,
you can move away,
but you can't take Cleveland out.
You're
gonna find yourself. I don't care if you were raised here, and I mean it. If you were raised here from, whatever to the age of 11,
sure,
right? All you have to do is you have to be here 11 years, from birth to 11 years. I don't care where you move. Your team is the Browns.
Yeah,
your team is the Indians, and your team is the Cavs. It doesn't matter. And even if you don't like sports, you make a run. And you said fair weather fans. This kind of makes me laugh a little bit. I'm not a big Cavs fan. I'm just not.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against basketball, because I like it. I played it in high school. I just love baseball. Baseball's life to me.
Right.
I like it over football.
Yeah. To me, it's always been Indians, Browns. I like the Cavs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the Cavs, but I mean, my gosh, would this town go crazy if you had a Browns or Indians championship?
Yes.
Like, it would lose their minds.
Yeah, and we did it with dude, when the Cavs won the championship. They
still lost their minds because
we did.
Because it was the epitome of all the sports in Cleveland celebrating one thing. Because all the sports teams came together to celebrate one team, which is incredible.
And they did the parade. Let me tell you something.
I wish I was there for the parade.
I did. I took my kids.
Really?
Me and Tyler.
Because I was having brain surgery during that time period, so I couldn't be here. But dude, I was like, this is incredible.
God, that made me upset. But like when you see stuff like that, and it's the same thing with you. Okay, you are a professional athlete. I don't care what you say. We've had this conversation once today. I'm going to tell you you're wrong. You are a professional athlete. And shut up. You are a professional athlete-ish. And you were in, I mean, you accomplished a lot of stuff from a young age. Mm-hmm. You've never lost your sense of hometown capability. And when I say capability, I mean, you did. You moved away. Did you have an Indians wrap on your car at one point in time?
Sure did.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter where you go. Mm-hmm. But it's not just...
I had the Browns cardiac alpha on the back of my helmet, too.
See, that's sexy. But it doesn't matter where you come from, right? We could be talking about Detroit, New York, whatever. Doesn't matter. You have a sense of pride, and that's why sports is what it is.
Yeah.
And sports, we were talking about this earlier before. You told me something that I never heard of before. I didn't know, but I remember where I was at when it happened, and I was not a NASCAR fan when it happened, when Dale Earnhardt died. Mm-hmm. You told me a story that I was like, kind of gave me chills a little bit, honestly. Yeah. I was like, damn, did that, and I'm like, wow, that happened.
And what we're talking about, there's a picture when they're driving Dale's hauler back from Daytona to Charlotte, and it is something that is so moving. It's his hauler, and it is a line of miles of cars behind that hauler. Not one car would pass that hauler.
See, that just gives you chills, okay? But that's what sports does. People, and it's the same thing with Coach Cox. I just call him Coach, so I'm just going to call him Coach now. But Coach, he's into combat sports. That's what he does. He trains. He doesn't train fighters. He molds champions is what he does. And when you have somebody like that is out there to make you a better person, okay, that's what a coach does. Anybody that says sports doesn't matter,
I disagree.
So do I. They're like, oh, you need to focus on this and not sports and not sports. Sports teach you lesson. It teaches you that pride. It teaches you, all right, I'm playing for my school. Yeah. I'm going to win. I want my school to be at the forefront. But then it teaches you other life lessons.
It's camaraderie, it's teamwork, it's goal setting, it's dealing with adversity, it's stress management, it's time management. There's so many things to go into. Not to say that you have to watch sports to have those attributes, but I mean, that's definitely such a big part of it. I think that's so true about what you say about that here. And I think the reason I wanted to touch on was because, I am from here. Like I said, I moved to Charlotte to go chase the dream of being involved in NASCAR, and I've been able to accomplish that. It's been incredible. But the Cleveland part inside of me will never go away. That's something that I'll remember for as long as, I keep on going. And we were talking about earlier today, this potentially being the last year of the Cleveland Indians before they changed the name. Sure. We're talking about going to the last Indians game because this is what we grew up with. This is what we, knew of the Indians. And we know there's a name change coming and things going on like that.
We do.
But the reason I would go to the last game at Jacobs Field as the Cleveland Indians is going to be such a bittersweet game because it's what we grew up with. It's what we did. It's an end of an era.
I mean, I don't even want to say it's an end of an era. It's an end of a, but it's deeper than that. I mean, when you say an end of an era, there are things, there are ends of an eras, but damn, you know what I mean? Like when something like that ends, you're like,
right.
Like how do you function past that? I mean, right? Like what is the next step?
Yeah.
And of course, everybody's like, oh, it's just a name change. It's just a name change.
It's such a new chapter.
That's the thing, and I don't like change.
Yeah.
I hate it. So for me to have to sit there and focus on change, I get anxiety. So now I'm like, what are we going to change the name to? I love the Indians. I love the Indians. I love the Indians. I love baseball. I can't not support them. I'm going to watch no matter what it is, blah, 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 blah. But that's what it's like anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say the Tigers had to change their name. You really think they're going to lose half their fan base? I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe that.
And I don't think we're going to lose half our fan base. I don't think. We're always going to be a football town.
Yeah. Yep.
moving
it's
past
a Browns
that,
town, but
yeah, it is a Browns town, and that's fine.
Like David here said, it is the end of an epic story.
Right.
I mean, talking about the municipal stadium, how many sellouts did they have there? 451 or something like that. The straight sellouts for years, that they have up in right field there. I mean, that is insane. The amount of fans that supported the Tribe over all these years. So again, this is very early on. Baseball just got started, but because I'm here, because we're talking about,
we're talking.
You know, it's just such a big deal that is going on and happening. But
100%.
Yeah, but anyways, I guess moving on to other things going on is that we don't have the chance to sit here and talk very much in person. And
when we do talk, we're always busy. We're always doing something.
Yeah,
we're filming something. We're doing something. We're always on the go. So yeah, it is kind of it's a different. Yeah. You told me before we started we're gonna have a different show today. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're having a different show. What I think we're having is, I think everything that's been going on in the past. Let's just take 7 months. Okay.
7 months. I think a year and a half.
Has it been a year and a half?
Well, it's been. Are you talking about COVID, right?
No, I'm talking about us. I'm talking about everything we've done.
Well, that plus the COVID stuff, then plus me ending being a race car driver. The last year and a half has been absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Because I went from being a NASCAR driver to hanging up the helmet to getting diagnosed with epilepsy.
Sure.
To COVID happening, everybody goes into COVID mode, and then we go into basically I'm looking for what to do. I happen to do this acting class deal or whatever, and all of a sudden I see Peyton Hillis responds to me and Joe Thomas on some keto tweet, and here we go. And so we're here today. So it's crazy. You never know where life takes you, but I think that's one of the biggest things has been. There's the sicknesses and there's the things that have happened, but I think in life you take things that are adverse, you make the best out of them. I've always tried to do that, and I think the whole pandemic has been for many people that have not, have been sick and have not lost their jobs and stuff like that. I think a lot of things in life are a mentality. And that's that if you're going to push through and make things happen, you can make things happen in a very bright way. You will get dealt a bad card from here and there. You definitely will.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, I've been dealt crappy cards in my life.
I mean, period. That's just going to happen.
Right. But at the same time, I think it's if we can all make it out of this together and be on the other side of this, from what we've done here at Cam Voice, doing this podcast now, what we're expanding to do here across all of Northeast Ohio and productions here, what I'm doing at the race team, everything there. There's so much that comes out of that, and even for me, I've talked about this some, but to be honest with you, it's something I haven't talked about a ton. But myself understanding of what anxiety is, that was a big thing for me. Because I know, you and I have talked about it a little bit, but I honestly thought that was a load of crap. I thought it was completely made up. I got nervous.
Did you really?
I did. And I'm ashamed to say it now. But
why?
Because I shouldn't say I'm ashamed to say it. I feel like an ass for thinking that before. Because when I was racing, I would get stressed. Sure. I would get nervous. I would get butterflies. When people would come to me and say that they were anxious, I would say that is a crock of shit. And I would think that they were just being weak.
Sure.
And I have to tell you, after I had, not my first seizure, but my second one, something happened to where my mental capacity just changed in there to where I fought extreme anxiety. I could not leave my house. I had multiple panic attacks a day.
Sure.
I had never been to a therapist before. I'd been to a sports psychologist for
but never
racing.
But never
exactly.
Never something in depth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I had done these things, but I never understood what that was.
Sure.
And for me, that was the biggest growth thing ever because, to be honest with you, I talked so much before about the brain tumor stuff, and people, I came back from that, and people were like, "Oh, that's incredible! You did this." This anxiety deal, I'm not even talking about epilepsy. Anxiety to me was 50 times harder than coming back from a brain tumor.
The only thing is, let's go ahead and get this out in the open now. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mental health, period, is a serious thing. Guys are not supposed to talk about this.
Exactly.
Right? We're not supposed to talk about that. Let's just take, for instance, we're not going to get into details with what just happened, but I was so pissed off 30 minutes ago.
Sure.
Okay, we're not going to talk about why, but I was so pissed off 30 minutes ago. And the first thing you did was you went outside, you grabbed my phone, you said, let's go for a walk. There's a reason why that happened. And then we chatted. Nobody was mad at him, just so everybody knows. This was not a me and him issue. This was a me and somebody else issue. But the whole point of that is everybody has a story, right? Period. It doesn't matter who you are. It's what you do with that story to make the book either readable or to make it relatable or to continue on to the next chapter, right? So many times have we, and I've done it too, and you were just talking about it, so many times have we been told men have to be strong, men have to be strong, men have to be strong. We are strong. We do certain things.
Sure.
Everybody has a boiling point, and everybody gets depressed. Everybody has anxiety. Everybody has that. I thought just like you did. If you have anxiety, you're weak. That didn't come from my parents, though.
Yeah, right.
That came from a systematic, outside universe that was creeping into a bubble to tell me how I should feel and how my emotions should explode. Right? You either bottle them up, or you explode in some fury of hell. Right? Yeah. The problem is that what you were talking about, that could have went so many different ways. If you really want to break it down and that could have went many, many different ways.
Sure.
You took it and turned it into gold. Just to be honest, I took it and we turned it into gold. We turned it into this. Many times men are afraid to talk about, I'm pissed off, I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm sad. It happens to everybody. Make that acceptable.
Right, yeah.
And then when you get pissed off and depressed, if you're from Northeast Ohio, go talk to Chris Cox at Hooligans. Because as funny as this sounds, like it sounds like I'm doing an ad for him. I'm not. The man has just helped me with more than life, I can tell you. You go down there and you turn it, you channel it. And that's what you did. You had an outlet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
Well, and honestly, my therapy, and they're getting deep into this now. Like I said, I could not leave my house. Like, I literally was so scared to leave my house because I thought I was going to drop dead and have a seizure on the floor. That's what I thought all the time. Every single second through my brain. That is what I thought every single day. And
I don't even know how to... The thing is, I don't even know how to sympathize with that. I just have to go, damn.
Well, and the problem is I couldn't either. My conscious mind, my subconscious mind could not figure it out.
Right.
And so months of therapy, months and months and months of therapy, PTSD, lots of PTSD training and, retrain the brain, doing that kind of stuff.
Sure.
It was so hard to get that past. And eventually I did some hypnosis and things like that. And when I came out with the epilepsy diagnosis, that was the single hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Sure.
Because I thought people would look at me differently. And what a lot of people don't understand about epilepsy is it's a very invisible disease because you can't see it unless it's happening constantly.
Sure.
So for me to come out and say it, I had to admit basically defeat in my racing career, who I was known for, right? I didn't have the race team yet. I didn't have anything that going yet.
Sure.
So I didn't have any of that going. I didn't accept the reason it took a year for me from January 20 to January 21 for me to come out and say it was because I knew it for a year. It took me that long to accept it myself.
Sure.
November of 20, I started publicly talking about it. And just to friends and family saying I had epilepsy. When I started doing that, I started feeling this weight starting to come off. When I announced that publicly in January of 2021 of this year, it was the biggest weight that's ever been lifted off my shoulders. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever done because I knew people would look at me and just go, oh, it's just, health things. It's just whatever with him now. And that's why I've been so outspoken about it. But that being said, it's been such a big challenge for me to understand the beginning, mental health. I still fight with it every single freaking day. Like, it's a never-ending battle.
We've had numerous conversations about this off air, just, whatever. Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah. So you're going to battle it.
I guess, long story short, for anybody who is going through it, this is coming from a former professional athlete, a NASCAR team owner, and a regular guy. It is okay to say that you're not okay.
It is.
Because people put the tough guy clothes on and say, and put the hat on and just push and push and push because their grandpa did that, because he hit the Jack Daniels instead, That's the difference. And people did that, and you can tough guy it out. Sure, why not? But
playing victim is only going to get you so far.
Yeah.
All right, we've known this. We've talked about this. There's I don't want to say I recently became successful because that's not true. We both have become successful in what we've done. So it's pretty much, we've opened this up. I'm talking about Cam Voice. We opened up. We just added on a whole nother system. We added on a whole nother room. We added on a whole bunch of stuff. And here's why. And this is true. Here's why we as men are supposed to not say anything about how we feel. Because the second we do,
you're a pussy.
You are. Mm-hmm. But men are different than women, right? Men will use that information and they'll use it against you. Mm-hmm. So when you start to have people who start to pull from you.
Well, it's the alpha male. It's a primal thing
of
alpha male.
Yep. Right.
And it's okay. And don't get me wrong. It is okay to be an alpha male. It is okay to go out and be a go-getter. But where things are changing, though, is being able to talk about your not being okay. Because guess what? It takes one badass of a guy to go out there and say, I'm not okay. Because do you know how much pride you have to shove down to go say that? That is a shit ton of pride it takes to go shovel that down 100%. And say, I'm not okay. That is the most alpha male thing you can do.
Absolutely. I do got to give a shout out though to Greg Biggs. I'm going to read his comment out. I'm going to tell you why. Greg Biggs just put, I can relate, guys. I've been diagnosed with anxiety and PTSD and found that boxing and MMA helps tremendously. Hooligans, go figure. Hooligans, boxing, and MMA is, damn it, coach. Hooligans, boxing, and MMA is where it's at. And he says, keep up the good work. Well, I know Greg Biggs personally. Okay. I grew up with him in Amherst. And let me tell you something. He was a good friend to me when I was growing up. And I hopefully I was a good friend to him. I don't know. But he was at least a good guy to me. Yeah. Never had any problems with him whatsoever at all. And growing up, you think, like, oh man, what's it going to be like in 20 years? Did I ever think I'd be sitting next to Matt Tifft, NASCAR driver, team owner, when I was growing up? No. Did I ever think I'd be kicking it with Peyton Hillis and being friends? No. Didn't think that. Did I think any of this was going to happen? No, I didn't. But the point is that all the people who support you, right, those people are the ones you can, your circle is a circle, right? So if you have a circle of people, a circle of trust, right, and you can tell people what you need, it eases some of that anxiety and some of that depression. But the problem is that nobody has circles anymore.
Right.
There's no more circles of trust.
You're right.
And it's because you don't know who's a snake anymore.
Yeah.
So now the circle goes from 10, maybe 15 people to 3.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have those 3 people, I found out recently, today, that if you have 3 good friends, it's worth 50.
Sure.
50 fake ones, whatever. And that's what we have accomplished. You said, I had anxiety real bad. I still suffer from anxiety. I have diabetes. If I don't have my blood machine with me, you saw, I freak out a little bit. I get a little panicky.
Yeah.
If I don't have...
Right here, I have my Captain America pill bottle, and it's got my medicines I have to take all the time. But
I don't have anything as cool as that. But
thank you to Jordan. She got me that. It's pretty cool. But having this in my pocket gives me that sense of control. It helps me get through the day knowing that I have to take my medication regularly, but it helps me know that things are going to be all right.
Sure, absolutely. And that's the thing is, but when you have someone you can bounce back and rely on and talk to, but talk to real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have a better chance. I'm going to say this this is probably the most true thing I've ever said. You have a better chance at survival.
Yeah, true.
Like in all seriousness, I mean, I do mean survival as a whole. Do you have any idea how many times you sit there and you're like, does it matter if I wake up tomorrow? When you start having those thoughts and you don't have anybody to rely on, sure, go get help, go talk to somebody.
Right.
It's still going to be difficult when you feel alone all the time.
Of course. Well, and this is going to be an oxymoron for a second here, but I saw on TikTok a video of high school students from the 80s. And what was really cool about it, because I feel like I was the last group of people to get through high school without constantly being on their phones.
Sure.
We used our phones, yes, but we still sat and ate in circles and talked and had friend groups and did stuff like that.
Yeah.
My brother and sister, no, they didn't have that. I know anybody else younger than them is not going to have that. It is weird to me because when you look back at you're talking about having friend groups and circles and things like that. Of course, you had cliques, and cliques are good and bad and whatever.
Right.
But it's interesting to me now because when I looked back at that video, I'm just like, wow, everybody talked to each other. They're all standing there in line talking to each other. They're communicating. They're doing all these things. And that's where we've talked about this in the past, but we're on Twitter and Facebook and Periscope and Twitch and whatever the heck we're on right now.
Sure.
And this will later be streamed to podcast places that you'll go find.
Yeah.
But the crazy part about phones and all this stuff, yes, it's been so good for us to have connectivity in a way. But when I look back at that video, I realize how this is the most disconnected people have ever been.
No. It's not the most. It is purely disconnection.
Yeah.
When you have, and I mean, like, this is the sad part of it, right? Mm-hmm. So, long gone are the days where everybody sat down for a family dinner. Mm-hmm. The hustle and bustle of life, okay, I understand that. But do you realize social media is a way to shut down somebody's brain?
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, it's all dopamine responses all the time. You never have it stopping, you know?
Right. And that's the problem. So when I'm sitting on social media, and I hate it, but we
you do it. I mean, we do it.
I have to.
Yeah.
But the only thing is I don't have to.
Yeah.
I do it.
We have to, but we don't have to, but we have to.
Correct. Yeah. So it's like social media will dude, you can do anything on social media. You can be anybody you want on social media. You can lie on social media. You can fabricate on social media.
You can be a different person altogether.
You absolutely can. And the problem with that is we're teaching our kids that it's okay to be keyboard warriors. Mm-hmm. The last time, like I'm telling you right now, if my kids ever disrespected anybody like some of these people do, I want them to get their mouth punched in. And it's not because I hate my children. It's because at some point in time, if you disrespect somebody like that and you do something like that, a good old-fashioned ass whooping is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But this is what happens. Mm-hmm. Social media, no one fights anymore.
Right.
So what they do is
Twitter spats.
It's all Twitter spats, right? It's all Twitter, Facebook. But then here's the bigger issue, and this is a serious problem. It spawns into something, and I mean horribly. It spawns into something where you maybe take a gun into school. And you start shooting people, and that's a problem. Face it. Just do what you got to do. If you're getting bullied, talk to somebody, but stand up for yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Stand up for yourself.
And
but that all goes
it's hard
back
because I remember. I mean, obviously, this is a big deal going on right now. Is what goes on in schools and shootings and stuff like that, and it's horrible. I mean, I was so afraid that when we went back to school, that you'd see all these shootings and stuff like that would happen. And guess what? They've been happening almost every single day, which is horrible. And this is the sad part about it, is I don't know exactly what school it was. It wasn't, maybe it was Sandy Hook, actually. I was driving home from school. Sure. I remember in my truck hearing that, and I was shocked because we hadn't heard anything like that since Columbine. And since then, that was my junior year. Since then, all you hear every single day is this one got shot up, that one got shot up, this one got shot up. The state of our country in my generation and younger generations is so bad mentally right now that it's no wonder that stuff happens, because everybody is out to get out and bully everybody because you're supposed to fit in this perfect mold, right? You have to be in the trends. You have to be looking like
popular.
This. You know, girls have to have the perfect hourglass figure. You have to do this, and this. And at the end of the day, it turns into being to where if you don't fit in that mold, you are not accepted into society anymore. There used to be the outcasts, but they were together. There used to be the rockers together. There was the emo kids together. There was the jocks together. There's the cheerleaders. There's the nerdy people together. But you had your cliques together. However, now you are alone in that because nobody wants to talk to you. And I see this firsthand because I can't drive yet. So I take an Uber every single day.
Sure.
And I've turned it into where every day, at least for most of the days in there, I try to talk to the Uber driver. And it is fascinating because by the time they start the ride to when I'm done, they are so, you can just feel like the energy in the car is that they've been so happy to have a conversation with somebody. And it's weird, right? Because they should be they see the most amount of people every day because they're given rides to every single kind of different person to go in different places. And they'll just 100%. Be like, and they'll be like, wow, and they'll literally say, thank you for the conversation. Like, it's crazy to me that is
a thing.
Just thank you for talking. Like, that's how sad it is now.
Am I really a freaking top fan on your page?
You probably are.
God dang it. That makes me mad.
All right. Well, moving on from some of the serious stuff there, I did see this come out today. And so, as we know, it's coming up this summer, right? Mm-hmm. And I saw this earlier today. You were in the age of Four Locos growing up, right?
Four Locos?
Yeah. Well, White Claw's starting to push into the territory. So they made this. So of course, everybody the last few years, seltzers are all the rage.
Actually, I was scrolling and saw it.
Well, when you did that, it reminded me of it because I was reading it before the show.
Oh.
So White Claw has bigger cans. Is now putting 8% alcohol in their cans rather than 5%. And I will tell you how many people I've seen throw up from White Claws because of whatever malt liquor they put in it or whatever it is, because it just makes you puke. It's like a diuretic for your stomach. And it's just funny to me because we're going into the summer now, the first summer where people can do stuff. And it is the most dangerous thing you just put on the market.
I was going to say, we're going to be everybody's going to be crunked off of White Claws.
It is going to be bad, man.
I even like White Claw. Do you like White Claw?
I don't like White Claws. I don't like Trulies. I like the Truly lemonades. That's what I like.
Is that what we had at
that's
the
what I gave you
movie
a
premiere?
sip of, yes.
The movie premiere. Not the movie premiere, but the rap party.
The rap party. Because it tastes like a Mike's Hard Lemonade with all the sugar.
Yes, and it wasn't that bad.
No,
it didn't taste that bad. But I don't like White Claws. But honestly, and these people are not a sponsor. In fact, I think they still owe me money. But the Unplugged Brewery in Elyria has a seltzer. Was that how you
seltzer?
Seltzer. Sorry, I think I said seltzer. A seltzer.
Yeah, seltzer.
Right, a seltzer that actually is super good.
Really?
Like, dude, it's actually delicious. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
It does have a lot of sugar in it, though.
That's probably why.
But that is why. But it is really, really good. Like it's hard too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably, I don't know if it's 8%. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I can't get into White Claws. I can't get into White Claws, and I can't get into those what are they, lattes, like the Busch latte things or whatever they're called. What are they? I don't know what it is, but I just can't get into it.
Yeah,
I don't
all
like
the flavored beers.
Yeah, the flavor. I don't like
no,
that. Like,
no, I'm with
it's not
there.
something. Now I like craft beer. Yeah, I drink craft beer all day. Dude, IPAs, I love them. Like, dude, I'm a home brewer though, so I love brewing beer.
Well,
love it.
But for me, I'm not into IPAs, but I like bourbons, whiskey. There's a place down the street here that I got to try. Cleveland whiskey, it's really good. So things like that, I've really gotten to like and try. But I guess I am cautiously excited to see what the heck happens this summer.
Coach said, "Gotta own a yacht or a show with yacht to like White Claw." Oh, that's funny.
I own a boat.
You do have a boat. That was fun. Actually,
well, we went on like a 40-degree day, so if they come back when we actually can swim in the water.
Well, that'll happen. Yeah. So do you like the hard liquor? And I don't mean hard liquors and like you drink your alcohol. You like the whiskeys and the bourbons and stuff like that. Hillis is straight bourbon. Yeah, like he just loves
he's Crown
bourbon.
Royal and then bourbons. Yeah.
Well, what is it, Tyler? McClellan. Okay. That's what he drinks annually. Like, I mean, he likes that. That is his drink of choice. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm not a big drinker. Period.
Same. Yeah.
So it's like I don't even have a beer anymore. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna have a beer, it's going to be a double IPA. I'm going to have one, and then I'm going to regret. Yeah, you know what I mean. Then but I'm not going to get trashed anymore, just because it doesn't.
It doesn't. So that happened to me about 2 years ago. I switched from being if I was in a party, I went from being I would get drunk, now I get buzzed, and now I'm like, I just want beer.
Right, a beer at dinner or something like that. I'm
getting old.
I don't know if you're getting old or if you're just getting wise. I mean, because
I just don't like the pain the next 3 days.
No,
because for me, no longer it's 1 day. Because of my medication, it is 3 days.
Oh yeah.
Like I need a lot of CBD oil for it to be 1 day anymore.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%. And the thing is, like, if I'm gonna have a beer at dinner or a beer socially, my problem is like why? Do you know what I mean? Like it's got to pair with food. I'm not just gonna order a beer just to order it.
Some days I will crave a Miller Lite, which I know you don't like it, but I will crave a light beer with like a steak or a burger or something. I will want that, but do I want 3 of them? No. Then I get thirsty. Then I get heartburn. Then the cycle starts all over again. Then I feel like crap the next day. Like it's not good.
Oh yeah, dude. And that's I have that same problem though. To be honest with you. Oh yeah, dude. Like constantly. I'm just not I did all that stuff when I was a kid. Right. I mean, I did all the stuff they told you not to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a real. I was 21 when I was 15.
Right. No, you know what I mean? I've always been told that when I was 10, I was 30. Like that's just always how it's been.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's gonna happen when I get to 30, but I'm kind of scared.
Oh, thanks. You're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
Okay.
We're gonna be fine. Maybe.
I don't know why.
Notice I said maybe.
Huh?
Notice I said maybe.
So one thing we were talking about, actually not you and I, but BJ, who also owns Live Fast Motorsports with me, we were talking about, so before we got our whole team going, we were talking about the Cheesecake Factory. And because we went there and we celebrated there. So what did we do yesterday when we came up? We went to the Cheesecake Factory.
We did.
And the reason I brought this up is because just talking about food and things like that.
Sure.
I was telling you last night here, so I loved the Cheesecake Factory one because it's delicious for all the food, and they're not sponsored, but if they want to be, hit us up.
Hit us up. I like that segue. Good segue.
Thank you. But one of the things I love there is their low carb cheesecake there because being on keto, again, it takes me a long time to recover from things. But if you want like a big meal that's going to fill you up, I love their just all their food. But then their low carb cheesecake. So this was something I'd always try to do when I went to racetracks. Was I'd always try to see if there was a Cheesecake Factory. I'd drive 30 or 40 minutes to go find said Cheesecake Factory, even if it's after practice at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would get a coffee and have my cheesecake.
Oh my God, you are like an old man.
I am. Yeah.
You are an old ass man.
I know.
But the only thing is, like, that's a ritual, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, is that safe to say, like, you did
me,
that?
Well, and to me, that's my favorite restaurant now because, I like steaks and stuff from, like, Longhorn and stuff like that. But
sure.
If I can get a steak, which I can at Cheesecake Factory, and get a low-carb cheesecake that I can actually have a dessert at some place because I can never have dessert because more chains need to start making low-carb desserts. This is a PSA to all you chain restaurants watching out there.
PSA. Make it.
Well, I mean, you got to watch your blood sugar. I got to watch my sugar I take in.
Well, yeah, I just discovered something called keto ice cream. Mm-hmm. That stuff was good.
I know.
That was really, I can't believe you ate 2 pints of it. But that was, really, really, but the only thing is, like, I told you the trick what to do with the whipped cream.
Yes.
The ready whip.
So, and I never knew about that.
Dude,
tell them what it is.
So if you have diabetes or you want something that has no sugar in it, obviously, get the sugar-free Ready Whip. And it comes in the little circle containers. But then put it in the freezer, let it freeze, and then eat it like ice cream. And I'm telling you, there's no difference. There's no difference between that and vanilla ice cream. So good stuff. And people are like, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. But it does. It's super good. Yeah. Super good.
Well, and that's what the ice cream I showed you. It was, you've never tried low-carb ice cream before.
I have not.
It's so good because it's so creamy, and then you get like all the thick flavors of like the full fat ice cream. Then you have the flavoring put in there, and does it not taste like ice cream?
No, it did. I mean, there was really no difference.
Yeah.
I mean, people are, and I know people don't believe that because let's be honest, Diet Coke, dude, tastes like Diet Coke. Like, it does not taste like regular Coke. You can clearly, if you had a blind taste test.
100%.
So, like, people don't believe our taste buds anymore because that's, we've,
well, it is
I could drink.
Yeah, because I can't taste the aspartame anymore.
No, I can't either. In fact, I don't know if I'd rather have a Diet Coke over a regular one anymore.
I accidentally have gotten regular Cokes or regular Pepsis, and I'll be like, oh gosh, like way too sweet.
It's sweet, right?
Mm-hmm. And I used to be a big Pepsi fan because I like the sweetness of it over Coke. But so I never actually liked regular Coke, but I have always liked Coke Zero. I've always liked Diet Coke, and I didn't like Diet Pepsi, but they came out with Pepsi Zero Sugar, and that tastes just like Pepsi as Coke Zero does Coke.
See, I'm not like a big Pepsi fan. Mm-hmm. That's my problem. I don't mind it.
Yep.
When I was able to drink sugar, I want a Pepsi.
Right, yeah.
But now I can't, and I don't like that. I don't like the taste of Diet Pepsi.
Diet Pepsi's bad, but no, I'm telling you, the black label one is Pepsi Zero Sugar. Not Diet Pepsi, but Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Sure.
You got to give it a try because it's actually very good.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I'll have to try it. I don't really honestly think I've ever had it. So
but one thing you did have in the studio here the other night that I was very jealous of was Diet Root Beer, Diet A&W.
I know, I'm sorry. I felt bad. So, but that's the other thing is like Diet Root Beer to me. Same thing with Mountain Dew. Mm-hmm. Diet Mountain Dew pretty much tastes like Mountain Dew, but they're the original. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But then they came out with that strawberry watermelon, or I think it might have just been watermelon thing, the sugar-free version of it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Dude, it's so good.
Really?
But the thing is I tasted the regular version of it, like the sugar version of it is garbage. It's
really
not good. But the sugar-free version of it
Because I've heard that Baja Blast Zero is as good, if not better, than Baja Blast.
That is a fact. We went to Taco Bell the other day. I can't even remember.
We forgot to try it out here.
So good, dude. Like that is legit. Like that is good.
Well, what else do you want to talk about? We got a few minutes left. So
we got about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing over the next couple weeks.
Okay.
Like you're going to be doing, so I mean, let's take out filming and stuff like that. Let's just talk about what Cam Voice is going to be doing, how we're going to be doing it. Because I don't think everybody said you're a partner, but now you are a partner. Like, you are a partner. We just went and got some cool stuff. We went and...
we went to Best Buy.
Yeah. We did a lot of cool stuff. And why are we doing this? We're going to be opening up to the public now. Not just if you want a podcast, but to the public to come in and get headshots if you're an actor.
Yeah. So one of the cool things we're doing is, Keith and I met through Twitter, but then obviously through podcasting, and then we did the movie together. And so I got involved with Cam Voice, who is the parent company of all the podcasts going on here and producing them. And so what's really cool has been we've seen it kind of grow and have a lot of big names come on the shows and have their own podcast. But where we're taking this now is really cool because, one, if people are wanting to do podcasts, we'll now have expanded the room to be able to do that.
Yes.
But beyond that, when I became an actor, you don't know where to go, right? Because if you're not in New York or LA, you're like, what are we doing here? You don't know what to do, where to go to. And something that was very important to me was coming into here was giving a place for people in Northeast Ohio, because we have a studio like this in Charlotte, but not so much here in Cleveland.
Sure.
It's a place to where you can come get headshots done. You can go, nowadays everything is done over Zoom. So whether you're doing your own product plug or you're doing a slate or a self-tape for an audition, you can come in here and do that. We're also expanding to doing commercial work. So we're going to be working with companies to be able to produce their own videos. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be able to expand and do. And it's a lot of, I think, really perseverance. We talked about COVID and how you come out the other side of it. And we're starting to see businesses getting more active. Things are loosening up, restrictions, all that stuff.
100% we are.
So now you have a time into which you need to capitalize on people expanding their businesses and giving an affordable option for them. And that's what we're becoming. So for guys who want to do, guys and girls who want to do podcasts, who want to do we have a photography studio now. We're going to have another podcast room, another producer coming in to do more stuff with it. Right. There's going to be so many media, opportunities that we're going to have here.
Sure.
That really, it's going to take us a while to grow into our own shoes because we have enough of everything, but we have so many capabilities that we just need people to start coming in and doing it. So this is brand new for us, literally as of yesterday. We've been working on this for weeks.
We have been. But we didn't rush into anything.
No, I should say months, actually.
I was going to say about months. Yeah, dude. We were...
Since the time I got involved with being in part of the company.
Yeah. We really sat down and we really focused on... you showed me some things and you were like, man, this would be cool if we could do this. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Well, yeah, it would be. And then we really sat down and we started making a plan. Yeah. And this is the equivalent of the plan. You know what I mean? Well, it grew into this.
Right. So, I know that we normally do a 1 hour show. I'm going to go a little bit over here if that's okay.
I got nothing
to do. I want to ask you a little bit about this because you have been an entrepreneur. You've owned your own restaurants. Yep. You've owned a radio station. You've been a radio show host. You've owned Cam Voice. Yeah. What is... for you for entrepreneurship and coming back out of COVID now, right? Sure. So we're going to a point to where we are having we're going to have a boom as far as people starting businesses because sadly there's a lot of closures of businesses.
There was, yeah.
So you being an entrepreneur and doing things over the course of your lifetime, what do you think is, for people who are trying to start businesses, right? What do you think are the big steps that you had to take? Because we talked about the other day, you had to get to a place where you had to take a leap of faith in some, and where maybe you should have taken a leap of faith in some areas that maybe would have helped you. So why did you say, because you told me, you said, hey, I was one hell of a salesman for a medical company, I didn't want to work for them anymore because I wanted to be my own boss. So why go down that path?
Honestly, because I like the freedom, right? Like let's take, for instance, like if I didn't do that, I got to ask for days off to go act. You know what I mean? Now I'm stuck going, okay, I can only take certain things because I have to work, I have to support, you got to provide for your family. But the problem, I guess, is when you are about to start your own company, your own business, whatever, you obviously thought about it, you dreamed about it, you're going to project it.
Stress
right?
it. Yeah.
You're going to stress out about it, all that happens. If you don't take that leap of faith, there's always an initial leap of faith. Everybody has to survive. You have to. We need food. There's things you need in life. food and water. And if you have kids, diapers, food, and water. If you have growing up kids, you have to take care of your kids first.
Pandemic toilet paper.
Or exactly. But once you make that leap, and once you have the right people around you, listen, you need to. I don't care. This is the biggest life lesson I've ever learned in my entire life. If you do not have the right people around you, you're not going to make it.
Yep.
Because you need to rely on people.
Right.
Right? Like Tyler, he will do production. He will do editing. He will do it, and he will stay late. He will come early. Okay? So now, I knew that he's going to do that.
Yeah.
Right? We became good friends through all this. Now I knew I needed a partner who was going to be able to take it to the next level. I had to make that leap. But before I made that leap, I didn't have a safety net, right? But then I found a safety net. Coach was my safety net. Not because he was giving me money or stuff like that, but because he allowed me to do something that allowed me to grow.
Yeah.
And I took that leap of faith, and a lot of it has to do with talking to him. Like, I made that leap. I didn't want to do anything. We talked for hours that one day. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. And you're like, no, shut up. My dad, no, shut up. You need to sit down, and we need to put it on paper.
Yeah.
And we did. And once I realized that this is what I want to do. I don't care what failure is not an option.
Sure.
This is what we want to do. We make it work, or we adapt to make it work. Your mind frame as a business owner, your mind frame as a salesperson, your mind frame as a human has to be, how can I better myself in the next 24 hours?
Sure.
Okay, so your business, how can you better the business in the next 24 hours? Once you make that leap, and that is your mind frame, the 24-hour mark, that you can't stop. You're not going to be stopped.
Right.
And don't let people get in your way.
Yep.
We talked about that. The second snakes or whatever get in your way, then you're going to backpedal. Stay focused on what matters, which is the business, your family, whatever.
Yep.
Stay focused on it and keep pushing through it.
Right. No, totally agree. And, I mentioned earlier I've been reading that Matthew McConaughey book, Green Lights, which I'm only halfway through, but I highly recommend it already.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool from his upbringing and stuff like that. And he talks about green lights. And so what that means is there's an opportunity. There's something that was good. You had to go hit that. Everybody hits red lights. Everybody hits yellow lights. You always go back to a green light. So when you hit a green light, how do you keep on going with it? How do you make use of that? So for him, it was Dazed and Confused. Right, so he comes in there. He just meets a director at a bar, and they're just drinking, I think whiskey or something at a bar. He goes, "Hey, come down to the studio. Let's go shoot a role, and I'll give you a part." And I think the story in there was that he was in Hollywood and he wasn't doing much in there. Like, he's a waiter and stuff like that.
Right.
And he writes down his diary every single day. He took his dad's lessons in there of just taking basically life by the balls and just going for it. And he was given this whole script, this whole character, everything in there. And the way this resorts to the business, I'll get to in a second.
Sure.
But he took everything he knew about this character, about this role, about this opportunity, and he comes up in that car, and what did he say? All right.
That's
and
right.
that has that not become one of the biggest taglines ever? That is one of the biggest
catchphrases you'll ever find. Anywhere.
So the reason I bring that up is because when he did that, when he said, all right, that got it to a place where he was able to go and expand his career.
Sure.
When I left racing, I didn't know where I was going to go in my career, right? And so I had a green light that came up of an opportunity to go work with somebody about this, basically a fantasy, really, of starting a race car, of a NASCAR team, let alone a NASCAR Cup Series team. That was a green light to go. And there are opportunities in your life that will come up. This, we talk about people coming out of the Great Recession doing so well for so many years. This is that time right now. This is a time in entrepreneurship or maybe it's sales, maybe whatever it is. This is that time right now to where if you can go and make something of this over these next few months to year, what's going to happen, this is going to be a turning point for a lot of people's lives, for better or for worse. And, myself battling through the health issues that I have, the things I've been through, what you've been able to do with your company starting it, and now what we're doing with this, you have to take that leap of faith. Will it fail? Maybe. You never know. But if you don't do it, what's going to happen? Nothing.
You're going to be stuck in the same position. Yep. Listen, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. Right. I don't care if you still think you're stuck in the same spot. You're not. Yeah. You're moving backwards.
It's sideways or backwards, and that doesn't get you anywhere.
It doesn't. And if you're going to parallel,
you hit a curb on the you hit a curb on the street, or you go back into another car.
Exactly. And I think that's what we've done. And there's a lot of people that don't understand that, and they hate it. And then they, you know what I'm saying, like. And I don't mean haters or whatever.
Well, he doesn't mean just us, just people that look at people who are creating things for themselves.
Exactly. They hate it. They don't like it. And once you do something like that and you realize that I'm doing this for me, I'm doing this for whatever I'm trying to create, that's a business mind frame. When you block that out and you're like, I'm doing this for me, I'm doing this for the company, I'm doing this for my family, then you can expand it out. You see what I'm saying? Yep. But you got to have that focus to put it in here and say, I'm doing this for me first. And we talked about this earlier in the show. There's not a problem with that. There's not an issue with saying, I'm doing this for me, I want to get help, I want to do this or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Same thing with a company. I'm doing this for me because I know in the long run my mental health is going to be way better. I'm going to be stressed out, sure. How you deal with stress, talk to somebody, whatever, doesn't matter. Do it. Go talk to somebody if you have to. But the point is you stay focused, you stay on the straight and narrow, and you try to do things morally. Something's going to happen. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Something is going to mess up, but what you have to realize is when you mess up, it is not the end of the world, and you keep going forward. Sure. There's a reason there's something called a rear view mirror. Look at it and just keep going.
No, for sure. That's where I think the same in the sports world is athletes make adjustments. Business owners, the biggest, they make the business adjustments of anybody to keep on going because they have to, right? You have to adapt and change. I mean, look at IBM and Apple, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
One of the biggest corporations could have evolved and changed. Look what they're at now. Yeah, sure, they have tech solutions for companies, but I mean, really?
But if you're looking at big picture,
they were bigger than Apple. They're bigger than Steve Jobs. They wanted nothing to do with Steve Jobs. They didn't care.
No.
And then all of a sudden, like MySpace and Facebook, same thing. So there's so many opportunities. I'm not saying that anybody's going to be that person, but you certainly can be in your own world.
Sure.
But that is, I think, such a big deal that's going to be happening right now between overcoming, and that's why I want to talk about all this stuff this show, because overcoming mental health issues. We've all been through some of the most anxious and aggravating and stressful times over this last year and a half.
Absolutely.
And coming out of that, people have lost their jobs. People have lost their motivation.
Their livelihoods.
Their livelihoods, yeah. They have family members. People have died.
100%.
This is going to be a turning point for good or for bad for a lot of people. And the reason we're talking about this here today is because this is a place where you can go make a difference for your life, for your family, for your future.
Yeah.
And that is what I want to go, give that piece of encouragement to somebody who's on the fence. Go for it.
Who might not have it or didn't get it today or whatever. You have no idea who you're going to affect in your everyday life. You just don't know. Sometimes you're going to affect somebody good. Sometimes you're going to affect somebody bad.
Yep.
Always stand up for yourself. Always keep focus and never think negative. It's hard to do. I was a negative person for so long, dude. For so long, I was the biggest negative Nancy, whatever.
It's easy to be the victim and think things are happening to you.
Right. It is. It really is.
But if you change it that things are happening for you,
there's a difference. Law of attraction, buddy.
Yep.
It's a very, very real thing.
Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much for today's show. I know it's a little bit different than what we normally do, but I think it's a cool thing to be able to reflect and look upon from where we've come from. Myself, from being from Northeast Ohio, what I built in North Carolina, what we're now going to come back home and build here with Keith to KM Voice. So again, reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. If you guys are in the area looking for commercial work, for different photography stuff or podcasts, whatever it may be, we'll be your one-stop shop for all that. So coming up with a lot of things to come. Also, remember, Thursday night we're going to have Kenny Wallace, the Herminator, on the show here. Going to be a really, really fun show.
That's right.
Definitely looking forward to that. And so I think we actually have a little sponsor plug too that we got to put in for this week. Or is that just on the? No, it's on the. I'm sorry. So make sure you guys.
Well, we have a technical sponsor, Hooligans Boxing Gym.
Yeah, you're right.
Hooligans Boxing Gym. Make sure if you're in Northeast Ohio, you go there, talk to Coach, call first, send a message. They're on Instagram, Facebook, all of that. You will never get. Ever get the best training from anywhere else unless you go there. And it's not just training. If you wanna be a fighter, he'll help you. He'll train you. He'll do all that. But if you want to just get fit, he'll train you. He'll help you. He'll do all that. If you need someone to talk to, just go talk to him. Call him. Hooligans Boxing Gym, one of the greatest people ever. He will sit down. He's real. It's real.
Yeah.
hang out.
No, badass guy. I got to hang out with him a lot this weekend.
Yeah.
Or this week. And then, guys, we are on all of the streaming platforms. So Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. Share the crap out of this show because we're really making a big push to get this big in the streaming area. So we're going to have new episodes that are being uploaded all the time on there. So it's kind of like, when you have Disney Plus and you're trying to watch WandaVision or a Falcon and Winter Soldier and you're waiting until the end to go get caught up. Well, if you got a family member or someone who's going to like this show that needs to go get caught up, we're going to keep on rolling and having them come out. So make sure go check them out. Please leave us a review on there too and a comment because that helps us get with the what is it, the not analytics, but the
it does yeah, it's definitely analytics.
What's the other word for it though?
What are you talking? I don't know. But check out Cam Voice too on Facebook and give us a review on Cam Voice.
Yep, check out Cam Voice to go book things there. But anyways, thank you guys. Hope you have a great night and thanks for watching.